Okay, folks, I apologize first of all if this goes off. It's been going off lately, but it seems to be going off after a certain time limit or something. I'm not really sure. Now, I talked about in my last video kind of a response to TLHCG, that long-haired creepy guy's JEM retrospective. I talked about basically in response to the question of why did Jerrica Benton JEM have to keep her identity a secret from her boyfriend Rio? Why the secrecy? And you know, it's still a question that even as long-haired creepy guy said in his retrospective, even irks fans to this day, and I tried my best to explain that in the last video. But here's another question. Well, not another question, but here's a little bit of trivia that you may or may not know. Now, when I came out here several months ago and I talked about Christy Marx' original plans to do an animated JEM movie, one of the plans that she had, according to the plot detail that she had given out, was we were going to have sort of a lineup, a roster change when it came to the Holograms, and I think even the Misfits, I'm not really sure. Now you might say, well, what do you mean by roster change? Well, this is where the trivia comes in. Sort of a did you know. You see, the original plan was for Stormer, that's right, Stormer, who was basically the good girl on a bad girl team. Basically the more compassionate, the more understanding, the more like, you know, you wonder, why ain't she a hologram? She's got the attitude for it. You know, why ain't she with the holograms? Why didn't she try out and become a hologram instead of Rhea? Rhea, yeah, that's her name. You know, why didn't she? Well, everybody's always asked that question, I'm pretty sure of it. Well, the answer is real simple. Had Christy Marx' JEM movie came into existence, and this is spoilers for anybody that hasn't read the information yet. The original plan, the original lineup change would occur towards the end of the movie. The movie, in a sense, I'm not sure, actually I am sure, would have served as a finale to the series. You know, like a lot of people see G.I. Joe the movie, the 1987 movie, as the finale to the series, even though it continued on about 2 years later thanks to Dick Entertainment. So the question being, what do I mean by roster change? And you know, in terms of, well, basically, in addition to answering that question, well, Christy Marx would have answered that question by having Stormer become a hologram at the end of the film. This is what she said. I got to find the article somewhere. You can even Google it, try to look it up best you can. But originally, the plot was Stormer was going to become a hologram at the end of the film. The Misfits, I think, would have gone back to a trio or would have had a new addition in Stormer's place. Maybe a new character, I don't really know. Can't really remember. And all this would be all this would have happened because Aja would have gone off with the boyfriend that we met, her love interest that we met in the season 2 three-parter, the talent show. She would have gone off with him because he would have came back, I think, in the movie, and she would have gone off with him to Paris or London, wherever it was, and thus she'd be leaving the holograms, leaving a void open for a guitarist, because that's what she was. She was a guitarist. They'd be leaving a void open in that area, and that void would be filled by Stormer. Stormer would become the newest hologram, perhaps under her real name. I know we got the name in the second season, but she would have gone under her new name, under her real name. There's probably no doubt about that. But that is initially what was planned. Yeah, initially, Christy Marx wanted to shake things up and make this much of a finale, maybe even a continuation if they wanted to do another season afterwards, like they had done with Transformers and like Dick Entertainment had done with G.I. Joe. But if that had been the case, had things gone the way Christy wanted to, Stormer would have filled the void as the newest hologram. She would have been under her real name as a hologram. And again, this would have answered the question that even young fans, young girls, and yes, even young boys had at that time. Like, why isn't she a hologram? She's got the heart of gold. She's got the attitude to be one. Why isn't she? And this would have been the answer. This situation, this point in the movie, or this roster change in the movie would have been the answer. She would have become a hologram. So that's what would have happened. That's what would have happened. Now, we don't know what else Christy Marx had planned for the characters or for the series or the franchise had the movie been greenlighted and maybe even helped continue the series. You know, I'm always under the assumption, after watching the JEM retrospective, the first one by TLHCG, that Kimber, this is my assumption, my opinion, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, that Kimber would have taken over the role of JEM. Like maybe Jerrica Benton was going to finally decide to step away, but she didn't want the holograms to die. She didn't want the holograms to become non-existent. So maybe I'm thinking, in my opinion, Christy Marx had plans for Kimber to step into the role as JEM, as the new JEM. Basically, she would get the earrings and everything, and she'd step into that role. So, to me, that's just my opinion. But I think just by, reading what I did that one time years ago about what this JEM movie would have been, about Stormer becoming the newest hologram in place of Aja, who would be leaving. I think in a way it makes sense had they continued the series had they continued the series, I should say, after the movie was shown, after the movie had come out, had the movie been greenlit. So, in my opinion, I definitely think a lot of changes would have come. Not a lot of roster changes would have came to the holograms, or lineup changes to the holograms. And again, I think one of those lineup changes we pretty much was confirmed by Christy Marx, would have been Stormer being a new hologram while Aja had left. And I think down the line, in my opinion, just because, just for the fact that reading that and thinking about that in my opinion, I think Christy Marx was planning to maybe have, was probably working on something that would have had Kimber become the new JEM. Like Jerrica Benton, her sister, was going to step away, be more of an outside viewer, more of a manager, be basically what she was destined to be, and that's be more of the head of Starlight Music and Starlight Orphanage and all that. So Kimber, in my opinion, probably would have taken over. So that's just my opinion on it. That's just my opinion. I think that would have happened, and who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, but again, just by reading what Christy Marx had planned out for the movie. I mean, the fact that, like I said in the last video, and I even talked about when I talked about the movie, Christy Marx was going to use it to have Jerrica, JEM, even under the hypnotic power of the movie's villains, the Mongrels, have her reveal her dual identity to Rio. I think, in a way, not only would have been a movie of revelation, but again, it would have led to the lineup change that I think also would have been continued on into maybe the following season, probably another season of JEM, which could have been the true last season instead of the third season. That's right. I'm thinking, in my opinion, the third season was basically called because of an audible. Basically, the movie didn't go through, so what's the point of continuing the series for another season if there's not going to be anything that's going to hook people to want to see a fourth season? So, but I think, in my opinion, and this is coming from someone that never really watched JEM that much as a child, but did watch it on occasions and has a respect for it to the point that, yes, I did buy the series. And it's one of Hasbro's big four that I look at it like, I look at it like, it's like, I believe, in my opinion, Christy Marx had something planned afterwards, had her movie gone through. I think she wanted to do another season and make that the true last season, and in my opinion, maybe that would have also ended with a lineup change with Kimber being passed, with Jerrica Benton passing on the earrings, the JEM earrings, to Kimber, and Kimber becoming the new JEM. But again, that's just speculation on my part, but again, just by reading what she had planned for the movie and the roster change and what would have happened possibly, there's no doubt, I believe in my opinion, that I believe in my heart that she was going to do another season had the movie been green-lighted, and I think the movie would have had her, not the movie, but the final season that would have came after the movie would have concluded with her passing the earrings on to Kimber, and Kimber becoming the new JEM and the holograms continuing. But that's just my speculation and opinion on it. But again, getting back on point of what this video is about, it's basically sort of a did you know kind of JEM trivia of the fact that Stormer was supposed to be the new hologram, was supposed to become a hologram in the JEM movie. So in the animated JEM movie, had it become a reality. So that's just a little bit of tidbits, maybe for some of you that may or may not have known that. But let me know what you think down below. Comment if you like, and I'll talk to you all later.